Well, hello my beautiful Aquarians, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, of course, I'm in a different location at this time. I've just gone to visit my family for the next coming weeks, but I will be back in my usual space after that. So I just thought I'd explain the new environment. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Aquarians, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. The first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile is the unified energy of how things are going to come together. Also, it's worth noting if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive, that is not a twin flame connection. That's more likely to be a false flame connection, and it will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time. You know, false flames and even karmics can trigger you without evolution. So if you're going round and round in a cycle of repeat and no one is learning a lesson or at least trying to step up, because humans are very complex, we're not all perfect, of course, but if you are going through something like that, it's more likely to be a false flame or even a karmic situation, okay? So twin flames, they are magnetic. I will give you a bite-sized idea of what it means to be in a twin flame connection. If you've heard something like this before, then of course fast forward until I show you your first card. But twin flames, you know, they are actually a physically romantic relationship, very intense at the very beginning of your connection. But it ends up being more of a process that prepares us to release low vibrational energy that keeps us stuck in either fear or addictive patterns or even unhealthy attachments. Now, it's a very intense inner vibrational transformation, but it is a personal journey of discovery, and it is one that must be done alone. There tends to be a runner, a chaser, and a separation period, which is not always typical to form, but it tends to be the norm, okay? And both parties trigger each other in order to discover their true life's purpose and mission, and of course, embrace unconditional love. Only then can they come back together in union and have a sustainable relationship. You know, people cannot love each other unless they love themselves first, of course. We can only meet each other as deeply as we have met ourselves, so it is a process that must be completed before coming back together in a reunion. Now, twin flames, it is a formed sacred union, which is the result of shared difficulty and pain. Twin flames tend to have had some sort of traumatic experience before they even met each other. And if there's anything left unhealed in those experiences, then the twin flame job, as it were, is to amplify those feelings in order to process them and heal them. You know, their presence is to trigger areas to promote personal development and growth. And, you know, this has been coming up recently in some of the readings that a healer is not someone you go to for healing. It is often a vehicle or catalyst to lead you towards the healing process. So for example, if you go to a counselor, you know, they ask you very leading questions to get to the root cause of a matter. But you do the healing because they have, you know, put you in a situation to identify and think about what it is that could be causing certain issues. So the counselor is the vehicle, the catalyst for change to help you get to that space of healing, to process anything. Oh my God, said go again. So I will. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Aquarians? What do they need to know regarding the outcome of this twin flame connection? So yeah, the twin flame dynamic is very similar, although it can be very lonely and often, how can I put that, unsupportive kind of journey. Okay, it can be a very challenging one, and not everybody takes the twin flame journey in their lifetime because it is so challenging. You spend a lot of time alone at the very beginning of the relationship in order to come back to self, to rediscover yourself, your path, and focus on your mission, as it were. And I always like to describe twin flames like magnets. Now, it's not a game, it's an energetic exchange. Both magnets, identical in polarity. You know, they attract each other, but also repel each other. There is always a space in between, until the frequencies are changed, of course. So if you have a chaser who is reaching out, messaging, thinking about their twin, putting all of their energy, time, and obsessive thoughts into, you know, the twin flame dynamic, because twin flame journey is all-consuming on both sides. So a lot of you may be questioning, is this person my twin? Do twin flames even exist? The answer is yes. Okay, so it can be all-consuming, very obsessive, very intense connection at first. But as soon as the chaser puts all that energy inwards and focuses on their true mission, their true north, as it were, their life's purpose path, and redefines who they are in order to step up into their greatness, only then can the frequencies change. And once that one magnet changes frequency, then it encourages the other magnet to come a little bit closer, to get curious about the change. And of course, it encourages your twin in the same way to either step up or step out. That magnet, the runner, must also change their frequency in order to come together in a union. Now, twin flames, the chaser tends to be the one who is open to the relationship, to surrender to the depth of love, because it is a very deep connection, a bond like no other. And they're willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. But the runner is the one who feels the fear and avoids their feelings. So the twin flame dynamic is a mirrored experience. You often mirror each other. You are twins. So it is a projected energy into the relationship where one party, oh, really interesting, both of you got Wheel of Fortune. So both of you know that you're destined to meet and that your destiny is to be together, but there's the stuff in between. We'll get to your energy in a moment, my beautiful Aquarians. But the twin flame dynamic, it is a mirrored experience. So when your twin looks at you, they're looking in a mirror of all the things within themselves that they've been running away from their whole life. And it scares them. They don't want to face it. You know, it means they have to change. It means they have to break a cycle or a pattern or a bad habit in order to step up and lead. So they often, you know, fall back into a cycle. They want to step up. They do try at first, but then, you know, they tend to fall back into unhealed responses. Because twin flames, a lot of people say, well, why don't they just, you know, express their feelings, say they love their twin? Well, anyone who has ever loved a broken person knows that it's never easy. It requires patience and deep understanding. And both of you tend to have had very challenging experiences before you even meet each other. So it's hard to articulate your feelings from a fight or flight foundation. Okay, it can indicate that there's a depth of love like no other, but it's hard to transcend the fear. And, you know, when you have a depth of love like that, it can trigger every fearful emotion because there's uncertainty. What if the person leaves? What if I'm not enough? What if? And, you know, of course, they can fall back into that cycle of repeat. Now, I'm just going to check your energy with your person, because looking at the energy with your person, there's definitely a cycle of repeat going on here. 2 cycles plus a 7 of Swords, the Runner, we got 3 of Pentacles, we got the King of Wands there. I need to go one more because there could be Page of Wands. Okay. King of Swords, High Priestess, got the High Priestess twice there as well. 3 of Pentacles. Now, I am going to pull a card on it when I get there. The 3 of Pentacles can indicate that there is a third-party influence, and that can be a counselor. Okay, I want you to be aware of that. It doesn't have to be someone cheating on you, or it can also be a friend who's trying to help someone understand their feelings. So I will get to it when I get to it, because we do have 2 court cards, you know, which is basically the Kings, Page of Wands as well, I guess. So it could be that there is some sort of influence here, either if you are someone who has children or your person has children. It could be some sort of influence there where this relationship has to be treated differently, for example, and there's a bit of caution there. But ultimately what I'm feeling here is that there is some sort of like knowledgeable person who can be the intermediary, okay, or someone who mediates between the two. So that's coming out very strongly in this connection. But let's get to your energy, okay? The first card for you, my beautiful Aquarians, because this is your pile, you're going through a very intense period of personal development and growth, okay? The Sun card indicates an awakening, and you're reaching for more. I feel you're really seeing all the things within yourself that need to be looked at. You're shining a spotlight on this relationship, but also you've got the Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess. You're cautious. You know, the High Priestess is mute. So you definitely have withdrawn your energy. You can't give to this anymore because you're like exhausted, and you're deeply sitting with self and contemplating, ruminating what went down here. The Sun card indicates as well that you're trying to heal. And a lot of you, this is an energy of focusing on your prosperity, on your foundation of stability. And, you know, this can indicate for some of you, especially the nature of what this card looks like, you can feel like there's a deep bond with you and your person, and you gave everything that you had to give in this connection. It was flourishing, but somehow it felt like it was still out of reach. You know, you can see a future with this person in your mind, and you can feel the depth of emotions, but how come it's in its present form that you're separate? Well, there is a rite of passage for a twin flame dynamic. It tends to occur. You can even like see very famous people. I don't know why I'm seeing these 2 people, but I am in the water right now. Maybe one of them is an Aquarian. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about these people, but they're really well known. You know, the British royal family, there's, oh gosh, what are their names? William and Kate. Yeah, so I'm being given their images right now. They went through a separation period in their courting phase before they got married, okay? And I'm not sure how long that was for, maybe about a year. I can't tell you. I'm not really au fait with their life or anything like that, but I do remember actually, and I'm being shown it in the water right now, that they had that separation period. They had to redefine themselves in some way, or they had to, you know, process something personal perhaps before they could really commit to each other. So twin flames, they do have a separation period. I always say do not wait for your twin, because they have a path to navigate, and you could be waiting like days, weeks, months, years, decades for this person to, you know, really step up and lead. And I feel this person, your twin, they actually think about you a lot, okay? But they're very detached, whoever this person is. And I feel there is this energy here of you really dissecting what went down in this connection and trying to shine your light no matter what, okay? You know, I feel a lot of you were broken down by this connection, you know, because when life breaks you in that way, or when the twin flame connection kind of stops you in your tracks and makes you, kind of like forces you to look at your shadow self, the sun can only then shine the brightest, and you got the Sun card here. So I feel like you're recognizing that your happiness is not tied up within another. The happiness is always going to be out of reach if it is outside of yourself. So that's why you're going inwards with that High Priestess energy right there, okay? It can indicate that you've been spun off to look at your shadow self. And when we are broken by any experience, this is where the light comes in the strongest. That's when you go through a period of healing. You know, the cracks are where the light gets in, and it is here that you will find your wholeness. And the Sun card is a wholeness card there. But also, you know, it is an ego card, and not an ego card in the way that is negative, because we all have different aspects of ego. But the Sun card indicates that you're focused on yourself at this time. You're learning lessons. Of course, the High Priestess can indicate that you've withdrawn your energy from this, that you're being more discerning about who accesses your life or who has access to you at this moment in time. So a lot of you, because this card literally shows something out of reach, it can indicate that you are off-grid or out of reach at this time. You're making yourself inaccessible to this person because you're hurt, you're healing. And, you know, there is an energy here of you either reprogramming, because the High Priestess is to learn from the past in order to break a cycle or a bad habit. It is to not be defined by past situations. So a lot of you could be looking at the very root cause of this separation period, because of course, every twin flame connection has a root cause. Looking at your person, they're very detached. There's got to be a reason for that. And we got the Two of Swords, stagnancy. You know, they think about you a lot. They're in their head. They're not making any moves right now, but they're still somehow connected to your energy. So let me just pull a card and see what's going on here, because looking at the energy, I can't see like the main root cause. What I can see is that both of you either are trying to step away from some sort of codependency, this need for each other, okay? But I need to see something a little bit more. Can you show me why this separation period is occurring? Because it is different for every twin flame connection. What is the root of this? Can you show me my beautiful Aquarian's twin? Page of Pentacles. Well, this tends to indicate that you offered everything. You made an effort in this connection. You're faithful, kind, loving. We got the Sun card again. A purifying energy. So either there was some toxic patterns or cycles of repeat here. Definitely cycles going on. For some of you, there could be addictions. So there needs to be recovery, purification, detoxifying energy here. Let's see what this one is. Five of Swords, self-sabotage, low self-worth, tearing oneself down with intrusive thoughts. Yeah, this person, there is some self-loathing going on there. Okay, I just needed to see what the root cause is. This person, they tend to self-sabotage. Even when things are going good, it's almost like they look for the argument or they find some sort of tension. When things are going too good, this person doesn't trust it, because they have either grown up in an environment where happiness doesn't last long. There's drama, there's conflict, there is feelings of not enough, always trying to placate people, walking on eggshells. That's what I'm getting. This person, they've gone through a period in their life, and I'm not here to give anyone an excuse or a way out, okay? I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to understand the energy so I can understand the outcome. So if anyone has not, you know, acted in their highest regard in this connection, they must take accountability and own their stuff, okay? They must take responsibility in this and really take an action towards healing it or explaining it in order to process it and let it go. So it cannot just be swept under the carpet, as it were. But you've got a Page of Pentacles. This person may have launched themselves into work or their projects in order to avoid their feelings. You know, this person feels like they look at people or look at you like they're not enough. You know, everything that they have to give, it's still not enough. Even though you just wanted to love them. You just wanted to be with them. There's something in this person that is deeply ingrained in this person. No matter what they do, it's never enough. And it comes from their family lineage. It's not that they're a people pleaser. I don't see that at all. But I just feel like this person, something has happened where with that Five of Swords, intrusive thoughts are like literally gnawing away at this person. And there's some sort of like drama or inner conflict. I also feel, because there's a Page of Pentacles there with the Sun energy, that this person may have given to a relationship when they were younger, because I'm getting a very younger age, like, you know, maybe teenage, late teenage years into 20s, early 20s, yeah, to mid 20s. That's what I'm being given here right now. That period, they may have had their heart broken. Okay, now this is something that they don't want to return to, but I feel it's something that really shattered their confidence. It kind of haunts them. Okay, there's more to it than this person, but I feel this person may reach for the quick fix in life, as it were, to make them feel needed. Okay, what else am I being given with this? Because the Five of Swords is this, it's like they may have pushed you away, even with words. Like they may have even said to you, look, I'm not good enough, or you deserve better. That's their like shield. You deserve better, so they can just push away. That's what I'm being given with this person. So the root of this is something that they need to heal. And again, there's no excuse. They can transcend this, of course, but it's hard. Humans find it hard to break a cycle of repeat or a bad habit. So looking at this energy, they have a King of Swords, which means they have identified, they can see. Really interesting that both of you in two different decks. I'm loving this synchronicity. Two different decks. There's an eye present. Both of you just want to be seen, but are afraid to expose those feelings, especially this person. I feel like you already exposed your feelings to this person, but both of you actually, I feel, keep an eye on each other, or you just know. It's like the all-seeing eye. You just know that you are meant to be together, okay? And I feel this is both of you as well, kind of like having your third eye activated so that both of you can step into that healing process, but that all-knowing process, so you can channel all your energy and your downloads into your sense of purpose. It's the wake-up call that you and your person are going through right now, and that's very challenging. Especially when you're going through a wake-up call or, you know, a sudden kind of personal discovery period, and it's connected to your twin, because often you go through this kind of like after you meet the twin, it kind of kick-starts, but I feel both of you may have been going through it before you met your twin, and it's just amplified it. It just feels like everything is like so dramatic in this connection, or at least in this person's mind. Anyway, that's what I'm picking up on with this person. I'll have to see a little bit deeper on this person, but you've got the High Priestess, which means you're withdrawn, you're silent, you're not giving to this at this time, because I feel like you're exhausted, you're fed up, and you're also reprogramming. You realize that if you continue the cycle of repeat, nothing will ever change. You know, it feels like if you don't change, you accept. And you're not accepting anymore. You're done with this. So this is the withdrawal for you. This is the reprogramming. So a lot of you are looking at your past as well, my beautiful Aquarians, in order to reinforce yourself in this present moment so that you can build a stronger future for yourself. So you're doing a lot of healing, a lot of rumination on your past. And I feel, you know, there is a mystery about you for this person right now, because either you've gone really silent, or you're not allowing this person to have access right now, and you're trusting that the way forward is to be unavailable, to focus on your purpose path, but also focus on your intuition, develop your intuition, your spiritual gifts, focus on your sense of purpose with your life's calling, because every twin has a mission in each lifetime. So a lot of you could have found yourself in the home space, you know, doing rituals, self-care rituals, trying to connect to otherworldly experiences, asking for a sign or an omen. But also this card highlights that deep down in the very core of you, there is a little spark of hope. Maybe you can come together in union. I mean, a lot of you are like trying really hard to focus on yourself and say, you know what, I am enough and I don't need this person. I'm just going to move on without this person. But still, their energy calls to you. Have you ever noticed when you think about this person, they kind of reach out? There is a bond that is like no other, a psychic bond between you both. And this person is aware of it as well. And I feel it scares the bejeebies out of them, because this person may feel like you've cast a spell on them, or like you're really witchy. They're drawn to you, they're magnetized to you, and they're like, what is this magic? And I feel this person, especially with the King of Swords, they've got a level of control, where they're like, okay, I just need to get everything back into order. You actually kind of like help them come out of their comfort zone. You have this wild, free spirit about you that they're intrigued by, because you have the High Priestess, and anyone who has the High Priestess energy indicates, you are magnetic, you are mysterious. People are drawn to you. You actually get a lot of attention whether you notice it or not. But this person, they are seriously thinking right now about you being their destiny. They know. Both of you know that you were meant to meet each other for a reason. We have the Wheel of Fortune here, which means you know that you are divinely guided to meet this person. However, the High Priestess is like, well, why? What is the lesson? This is a lesson I didn't ask for. I feel a lot of you are just like fed up of this twin flame cycle of repeat. You're stepping away. But you're questioning, you're cautious, you're not moving forward at this time. So it feels very much like you're stuck in the cycle of, should I stay, should I go? I'm focusing on myself, but I'm drawn to my twin. Where am I at? It's almost like with the High Priestess, you're in between worlds. That's what the High Priestess is. It's like you have one foot behind the veil and one foot in front of the veil. You're in between worlds, almost like in no man's land right now. So you may feel a little bit lost in this whole process. And this is where you redefine yourself. And this is where you shine your beautiful light. Despite the twin flame connection, you focus on your purpose path, unconditional love for self. And that is the catalyst for change. A lot of you realize deep down there will be divine intervention, where Wheel of Fortune indicates there will be another cycle with this person. And I have to be really honest with you, my beautiful Aquarians. You will repeat a cycle where one of you steps away again. There is not, a reunion energy here that is sustainable at this time, because something has not been looked at. Your person is still closed off. They've got a Two of Swords. I got to be honest with you. I hate giving you this message. I wish I could tie it up in a little bow and say, you know what? You're going to get together and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a process. You will be together again. Divine intervention states that you will reignite, the connection. However, Two of Swords and the Seven of Swords tells me that there will be an independence. There will be a quest to be free, and someone is going to step away again. And I highly suspect it's going to be your twin. They're still in the runner energy. I got to be honest with you, okay? So it's not never, it's just not now. So I'm going to pull some cards just to see how you can transcend that and when it will occur, because they do know. I mean, this is how they feel about you. They know that there is a cycle with you, but you're redefining your boundaries right now. And you're saying, no, you can't have access to me like this. So therefore, the High Priestess can be to watch and wait. Actions speak louder than words. I mean, deep down, you do want to be with your twin. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to this reading. However, a lot of you, there's this energy of reaching for higher standards, holding yourself to higher accounts. So I feel like you are redefining yourself at this time, reprogramming, and recognizing that if you don't change, nothing will change. So I feel like you are shifting the boundaries right now and saying, no, you cannot come in, you cannot have access. You need to show me with action that you are changed or evolving or learning from this, and then we can build a life together. If you can't do that, then you're out. That's what I'm seeing. So step up or step out. That's the energy that I've got. And the Wheel of Fortune energy tells me that this person, they're not quite understanding it yet. They are called to you. They're destined to be with you. They know this. They keep being drawn to you. They feel it is their destiny to be with you, that it's fate. That's what they're feeling right now. But they're also dissecting it because they don't quite understand it. The King of Swords, very intelligent person, but at the same time, Two of Swords, they're very guarded. You see the camel there. The camel indicates that this person has gone through a very harsh environment. And actually, if it was the very foundation of them, it would be the Ace. But the Two of Swords tells me that, as I said, it's like almost like from late teenage years into early to mid-20s, very chaotic time for this person where they had to be very guarded, walked on eggshells, a lot of drama or challenge, pain, sorrow, just feeling a bit lost. Okay, and this person, they're very guarded ever since this. So I feel like this person has been hurt in love before, But I feel it's more than that. As you can see with this King of Swords, all of those pillars, it's like there's a crumbling there. So behind this kind of like strength, this power, this kind of like sovereignty within oneself, there is a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, a lot of things that didn't work out, a lot of like sadness, a lot of disappointment. But we all go through that. And this person is protecting themselves because the Two of Swords is like they're locked off. They're currently sitting with self in order to review. And that's kind of where you want your twin to be right now, because you've withdrawn. Each twin is at a different stage. Remember the magnets? When you withdraw your energy and you focus on self, when you focus on divine order and your sense of purpose, your destiny, that is when the magnets shift and change. Your person will stop running when you stop giving to the connection, and you're stopping giving to the connection right now, okay? So they've stopped in their tracks and they're really thinking. King of Swords, very cerebral, detached, but deep in thought. Working out, what happened here? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I keep thinking about my beautiful Aquarians, but still, like, I can't get past something to really show them my true self? They're running away from their feelings. They've disassociated in some way from something, because the King of Swords is someone who is kind of like, I don't want to say impartial. It's like they are not numb, but yeah, disassociated, in fight or flight mode, because that Five of Swords came out. Something going on there, which they don't actually allow many people to see. So they may have told you about something from their past. But the Two of Swords normally means someone who is sitting with self, protecting their inner peace, trying to change their life, you know, having to make a decision about something. So I feel this person, they were not looking for love when they met you. And I actually feel like you weren't looking for love either when you met this person. I feel like it just happened because fate brought you together. You were always meant to meet each other, but that Two of Swords, it can indicate that there is a challenge, there is a sorrow, there is a despair that has put you both in stalemate. So I'm just going to pull a card and see what that's all about, because, you know, a camel crosses deserts, right? Has the power to stand alone, but also, you know, is self-sufficient and operates in very austere, challenging environments. And I feel your person has gone through something where they've been very brave. Don't get me wrong, I feel like this person's very brave, whatever it is. And I feel like you are too, because both of you have been through a lot. Twin flames tend to have had very similar experiences in their journey. Not exactly the same, but the lessons can be very similar. Five of Pentacles. This person has dealt with loss. Now this can be that there's an abandonment issue here. Either they've been loved and lost, and they just feel like, thanks so much, I'm so grateful. My guide just stepped in and said, this person feels unlovable. So again, I'm not here to give anyone an excuse or way out, but the Five of Pentacles is an energy of feeling like they lack or they're not enough. But I do feel this person has been the victim of a very abusive relationship in the past. Okay, now this can be like a romantic relationship, or it can be from their roots. It can be from when they were younger, okay? So that's what I'm feeling with this person. So this person has been constantly in fight or flight mode. They find it hard to articulate their feelings. They are kind of like disassociated with some things, and I feel this person is going to tell you about needing counseling, or that they are seeking counseling. That's what I see there with this person. But this person, they struggle with feelings of low self-worth and self-loathing, and you cannot love another person unless you love yourself. Remember, the cup of love starts with the self first. So this person, they are not currently capable of offering you the love that you truly deserve and desire, because they cannot love themselves at this moment in time. There's something that they need to process, but it is something that they're looking at. So that is a very positive energy. There's still a cycle here with both of you. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, but fate keeps bringing you back together in order to remind you that it's worth it. But then the stuff gets in the way because it hasn't been processed. And that's why there is this cycle of coming together and wanting to be together and wanting to try, but at the same time, you know, the lessons aren't fully being processed. So looking at the energy, we have the High Priestess, we have the Hermit, and we have the Chariot card. Now the Chariot card means overcoming obstacles, moving forward. And the High Priestess, of course, which is here, is all about spiritual development and growth, knowing oneself, reprogramming, as I mentioned there. And the Hermit is the solitary path. You and your person are separate on purpose. Both of you at this time, which this reading is for the next 6 weeks, you must walk this path alone. Again, very challenging and often very lonely. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there, my beautiful Aquarians. So much love. I know how challenging it is. But as you can see, the bear indicates endurance, and all those pearls of wisdom, it indicates during this personal journey of discovery path, because the Hermit is a temporary timeout. As I mentioned, it's not never, it's just not now. The Hermit indicates that there is wisdom in this pause. The Hermit withdraws from society, or withdraws from, you know, that which it needs to withdraw from in order to process, to regroup, to re-energize, to find oneself, to go within, to find answers. This is a quest for personal truth and spiritual illumination, and both of you are on that quest. And I feel this is where you will discover self, or reignite your connection to self. And I feel this is where you will find your way back towards each other eventually. But I do feel that both of you are maturing. This is a period of introspection, and your person is doing the work. That's what's so positive about this. They are in a period of introspection. And that's what you both have, because the High Priestess is also a period of introspection, going within for answers, learning more about yourself, what you're capable of, and the journey that you've taken. You know, both of you, this particular twin flame connection, it's about the journey. It's about processing all the experiences on your path. But, you know, the Chariot card indicates that you and your person will move forward, but there is transformation. There's a butterfly here. This is about empowerment, knowing that you're enough. And, you know, during that chrysalis phase, as it were, it may feel like you are dissolving your sense of self. You're bereft. You feel lost. But it is here that you become, when you transcend all the lessons once you process and heal. Easier said than done, I know. You know, sometimes it's really hard to hear someone saying, well, you know, people just need to heal and focus on their path and then everything will be fine. Well, no, that's not human nature. We all know that. It's hard. And sometimes we have to constantly remind ourselves with self-care rituals that we are enough, that we have to connect to things that are important to us, to remember who we are and not lose ourselves in the twin flame connection process. Life is hard. It is always going to throw something at us. That is, unfortunately, the nature of life. And it's how you navigate that. So this is you and this person right now navigating the experiences you've had to date, but also preparing for what is to come. Because I do feel that you and your person, there's something left unsaid here, for sure. And I feel there's something that feels very much like a secret. Not like a secret person where there's a secret relationship or anything like that, nothing untoward. But I feel there's either a family secret or there is something that is so important that has been put into a little box at the back of someone's mind that is a wound that says, I must not tread there. I must not go there. I do not want to open that box. And I feel it's your twin. I feel your twin is like, that box is like locked off. But now, what I see here, it's almost like your twin has taken that box out and put it on the table and is now looking at it going, okay, if I can, you know, open this box, then I know I can be with my twin. They want to be with you, but now they have to really face something. And they're sitting, looking at that box saying, I'm scared. I'm not sure if I want to do that, because the Two of Swords says it brings me into uncharted territory. There's a stepping stone here. It's a process. If you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the figure in the Two of Swords has two swords up like that, crossed, locked off, saying no access here. There's no threat. Swords are very cerebral. It's all about the mind. And behind the figure, there is an island, and there's little stepping stones. Everything that this person wants is on that island. Everything that this person wants is within you. But they got to do the work. They got to process something. They've got to drop their shield, drop the swords and say, look, love can leave, yes. but we must trust that it does not. Now you're coming from a different perspective, which is like, I loved my twin, and then they abandoned themselves and this connection in it. And now I'm left wondering, can I trust that when they return, they will stay? I got to be honest with you. Protect your beautiful heart, my beautiful Aquarians, because the Seven of Swords is present, which means this person, they are wrestling with this and they are not going to stay on this occasion. So here you can redefine the parameters of the relationship and know that you will repeat a cycle with this person. But if you teach them, you've erected healthier boundaries and said, look, I'm doing the work. You need to step up and join me in this. Otherwise, you need to step out. That gives them something to really think about. And you withdrawing has given them something to think about. So you can move on from this, but the Chariot card is a directional change. It is a decision. And I feel that both of you are developing your intuition. Both of you are seeking answers within. So you are in the rite of passage. You're exactly where you need to be. Now, we do have the Three of Pentacles, okay? Now, this tells me that both of you do want to make this work. Often people misconstrue the Three of Pentacles as being like three people, just because in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, there are two people discussing one person who is on a pedestal. Okay, so it can be that your person is talking to friends right now, trying to work this thing out, kind of understand their feelings. It could also be that you are doing the same. But in this beautiful card here, as you can see, there's twins holding hands, wanting to rebuild, wanting to, complete the foundation. Because the Three of Pentacles says we're not there yet, but we want to be. So we want to rebuild something that is very delicate. So I do feel here that you and your person, when you're becoming and blossoming, you can join each other. It is a period where I feel the next 6 weeks, there could be some conversation between you both. But I got to be honest, because the Seven of Swords says that, there is a runner energy still present in this connection. Now, because you're tipping the balance by withdrawing, it can be that you're tipping into the runner phase now and your person becomes the chaser. The dynamic shifts before you come together fully in union. But what I do see here with the Seven of Swords, there's a snake on this person's arm. Now, this tells me transformation is taking place, but it's not there yet. It can also indicate that there's still a toxicity in a pattern, and there's a root cause. It's like once bitten, twice shy, and this person has yet to heal it. You're standing in all your glory with the sun energy, so you're doing the work. You're going through the personal journey of discovery, but your person's just waking up to the fact that, like, okay, this person's my twin. They're my destiny. I was destined to meet this person. Aquarius is my fate. But why am I feeling I can't move past something? It's because of the box. It's because they need to open the box, look inside, and see what it is that needs to be processed. And this Three of Pentacles can also represent that this person will go through some sort of counseling that helps them, discover the blockage so that it can set them free and they can join you in the healing process. But I feel like when you reunite with this person, I do feel with this Seven of Swords that there is an energy here where this person will push back. And one of you is activating, that runner mode again. Someone's running still in this connection, okay? Now we do have the King of Wands. Okay, King of Wands is an influencer energy. It is a spiritual awakening energy. If you look up the meaning of the card, it can indicate someone who is courageous to overcome something, but also it can be a huge spiritual activation. So I'm just going to pull a card here because, there's two kings and there's a Page of Wands, but there's also a Three of Pentacles. So it can indicate that, there is another person to kind of like think about in this connection. Now, either it's a counselor, as I mentioned, someone who is the catalyst for change, or it can be that either one of you have children, or it can be a friend. Page of Wands often is a friend, a loyal friend, or someone who is committed to helping or supporting someone. So it can also be, when it comes to love, it can be a soulmate, for example. So it can be this person, they're thinking that like maybe you're a soulmate and they're trying to work out how they fit into all of this. Six of Wands, Seven of Cups. I actually feel with that Seven of Cups, you know, that tends to mean that there's a commitment issue here. And Six of Wands can be that someone kind of like helps your person see what the reason is. Knight of Cups. Yeah, this person, you know, it's like there's a third party. I feel more than anything it's a counselor. And they're helping your person. Your person may talk to you about counseling or that they have thought about counseling. There's this energy of someone in the middle who feels actually very impartial. So I want to like move away from the friendship aspect a little bit because I feel it's someone who's in a position of authority to help this person or you. It could be like, for example, a guidance counselor or something. I just feel like there's an intermediary there where it's like discovering the root cause. It's like looking at different things. If you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Seven of Cups is a person looking at all the cups saying, okay, you know, there's a snake in one cup. It's like, where's the root of the toxicity or where is the wound in this connection? And then there's like a victory wreath. You have the Six of Wands there, which it means you can identify something in order to transform it, to initiate change. The Six of Wands is to be successful, to have a breakthrough. And the Knight of Cups, as I said, I feel there's something here about someone helping your person like acknowledge that they love you. And I feel like your person will come towards you and offer some indication that they are in love with you, that they have feelings for you, because they do. They are destined. They know that you are their fate. And the Knight of Cups tells me that they're in love. But I feel like they have to initiate some sort of lifestyle change or something before they can really step into their power and have a sustainable and maintainable relationship with you. And it's not going to be easy, okay? The Page of Wands is purpose. When you apply it to a twin flame connection, not only can it be like to be friends, so it can be that, you know, you and your person kind of acknowledge that you want to be together, and the twin flame dynamic is to acknowledge that you have to go off and do your own sense of purpose and explore whatever it is that you're called to do, and so does your person. So I feel this is to transcend. You have the two wings there, which means there is elevation in purpose. Look up the meaning of the Page of Wands. It's all about purpose. It's about exploration. It's about connecting to your free spirit. It's about connecting to your path. And pages bring news, so I feel like you will hear from your person. There is a message coming through here, and it's definitely a message of love, but I feel that you're going to repeat a cycle with your person. There will be a moment where either you or your person steps out of this again, and then after that, you come together in a union that is sustainable. Because your person, or both of you, are getting the advice or the guidance you need in order to come back together and realize actually you love each other, and love wins the day. So I'm just going to go and get some final cards before I close your reading. Oh my gosh, look at the card. I'm loving it. I'm trying to move from cycles. Literally what this whole reading was about. Both of you have got the cycle card, so I feel this person is trying. But I feel like, you know, old habits die hard, and I feel like they will break through eventually. So the fear here, especially with the card you just got, I fear you will move away from me. And as I said, this person's got an abandonment issue. So I'll just show you all the cards. I'm trying to move from cycles. I just showed you this one, so I'm showing it to you again, though, in the sequence that you got them. The next card there as well is, I fear you will move away from me. And I definitely see this as a root in this reading. It came out with all the other cards before this actually, you know, said what was happening. And then we've got, life has been hard and we paid the price. And this person, as I said, they've had a hard life. They've gone through a very austere environment, walking on eggshells. This person, if you've had to live a life where you're self-sufficient and you don't need anybody because you've been in fight or flight mode, having to battle away, it's really hard to share your life with another person and open up and trust that they're not going to hurt you. So sometimes the measure of control is to push back and say, I'm good. I don't need love. I don't need you. I don't need anything. You know, you're probably better off with someone else. And that's the measure of protecting their heart. But they are so fed up, I feel. This person's fed up of protecting their heart because they're stuck. They're still in the same place. Two of Swords means, they find it hard to, change. And they need to make a decision. Either they will stay in this energy forever and miss an opportunity to be with their twin, or they will break this cycle. And I feel like they are trying. Okay? So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune before we close the reading. Okay, so we have the hot lips there. So this is all about conversation, of course, taking accountability for actions. The lips can also indicate sensuality. Okay, I feel for some of you, your person, because there was a disassociation there, they may have, mistaken physical aspects of the relationship for intimacy. And I feel they want more. Because to have the King of Swords and the Two of Swords, that can feel pretty empty. So I feel this person wants to break through in order to have more with you. And I feel, there is this energy as well that when you hear from your person, it is going to be very flirtatious, but there is a core of love there. So you may get like a pretty, flirtatious message from this person. And at first you may actually wonder whether you want to connect to this, but there is substance to this person. And I feel that yes, there is a cycle of repeat where it's very physical, very intense, very connected, and then you separate again. But I feel the next time round, it is a long-term relationship that goes somewhere. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates with you, my beautiful Aquarians. Thank you so much, and love and light.